Welcome back to The Pulse. We appreciate your company. Now, just 2 days into his administration, President Mahama has submitted his first list of ministerial nominees to Parliament, with former Minority Leader Kaisel Ato-Forson heading for the Finance Ministry. This was captured in a statement signed by the acting spokesperson for the President, Felix Kwakye Ofosu. Now, let's ask the question, do you know who these nominees are? On your screen is the pictures of the 3 designates that Mahama so wishes to work with in his cabinet. And then on your screen, you'd have the pictures, but let's bring you the statements from the presidency first of all. Well, on your screen now, you have the pictures of the ministerial nominees. And then we have Dr. Kaisel Ato-Forson, Minister for Finance Designate, with the glasses. Obviously, you know him by now. And then we also have John Abdullahi Jinapor, Minister for Energy Designate. We also have Dominic Ayine, also Attorney General Designate, Minister for Justice Designate. And so we have these 3 persons whose names have been submitted to the Speaker of Parliament, who has also forwarded it to the appointment committee, and later on we'll go through the vetting process. But let's get to know them even more. We've got Dr. Kaisel Ato-Forson, Minister for Finance Designate, and here a few things to know about him. Fiscal economist, chartered accountant, and a tax practitioner for over 2 decades. He's also Deputy Finance Minister, or he was Deputy Finance Minister through 2013 to 2017. MP for Ejumako Enyinem Isiam since 2009 as well. We've got him currently, or just past 8th Parliament, Minister, Minority Leader, and is at the time of the 8th Parliament, he served as the Minority Leader. Let's go to the next person as well. Let's get to know him. He has been very vocal on the energy situations in the last 8 years, and you know him already. John Abdullahi Jinapor, Minister for Energy Designate and Deputy Energy Minister between the years of 2013 to 2017. MP for Yape Kusagu since 2017, ranking member on the Energy Committee in the 7th Parliament, and he is the one the President is hoping to have him on his cabinet serving in the Energy Ministry. And also the Attorney General, Minister for Justice Designate, Dominic Akurutinga Ayine, former Deputy Attorney General, MP for Bolgatanga East since 2013, and has over 3 decades law practice experience, and also has been lecturing at the university. He's been lecturing law for some time now. Now, let's bring you the statement itself so that you can take a read. Now, it says, President Mahama announces first set of ministerial nominations. President John Dramani Mahama has submitted the following ministerial nominations to the Speaker of Parliament in accordance with Article 78 of the 1992 Constitution of Ghana. Says that Honorable Dr. Kaisel Ato-Forson, that's his full name if you didn't know, Minister for Finance Designate. And on the second is Honorable John Abdullahi Jinapor, Minister for Energy Designate, and as the third person, Honorable Dominic Akurutinga Ayine, Attorney General and Minister for Justice Designate. Well, it goes on to give you a brief, which we have done already, but just to recap, says that Honorable Dr. Kaisel Ato-Forson is an economist, chartered accountant, and tax practitioner with extensive experience in public finance, macroeconomics, fiscal policy, tax policy, and business management as well. He'll continue to say a 5-term lawmaker. Dr. Forson holds a PhD in finance from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology and a master's science degree in taxation and economics from the University of Oxford and Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, respectively. He also holds a Bachelor of Science in Accounting from London South Bank University. Honorable John Abdullahi Jinapor brings a wealth of hands-on experience, competence, and know-how to the energy portfolio. With his extensive qualifications, particularly in energy, economics, and finance, he is expected to bring much-needed dynamism and capabilities to transform the energy sector as well. It goes on to say that Honorable Junapo holds a Master of Arts degree in Economics Policy Management and an MBA in Marketing in a Master of Science as well in Development Finance from the University of Ghana. He also holds a Master of Science degree in Energy Economics from GIMPA and a postgraduate diploma in Finance and Financial Law from the University of London. And let's move to Honorable Dr. Dominic Akrutinga Ayine. And is a senior lawyer with 3 decades of experience in practice. He previously served as Deputy Attorney General and Minister for Justice and is the founding partner of Anyine and Partners Law Offices. He holds a PhD in law from Stanford University, a Master of Law, which you know as the LLM, from the University of Michigan Law School, and a Bachelor of Laws degree from the University of Ghana. He also lectured at the University of Ghana Law School for many years. Well, that will be all a profile of the 3 nominees that the president is hoping to be working with. And the update is that it's already been sent to the Speaker of Parliament, who has also forwarded it to the Appointment Committee. Now, well, on the floor of Parliament, the Speaker read the communique. What do you know? Let's get to know about the 3 nominees, which we have already been telling you. But quickly, Minority Leader Alexander Ahwenyo-Marking tonight was slamming President John Mahama, insisting that his nomination is coming as a tot, and is expecting that Mahama would have presented a much more larger or a much more overview of all the people that he's hoping to work with. And also says that presenting Dr. Ato-Forson as Finance Minister Designate, John Junapo as Energy Minister Designate, and Dr. Dominic Anyine as Attorney General and Justice Minister Designate. But reacting to the nominations on the floor, the Minority Leader described the approach adopted by him or by the President as taught, and has also criticized the government for publishing the names before they were read in Parliament. Take a look.
The names were read out by Mr. Speaker. He read out only 3 names. The Finance Minister Designate, the Energy Minister Designate, and the Attorney General and Minister of Justice Designate. Mr. Speaker, this thought appointment is unacceptable. Mr. Speaker, this is a government that promised a 24-hour economy in opposition. They told us that they were ready for government. Mr. Speaker,
Honorable Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, indulge me.
Honorable Minority Leader.
Yes, indulge me.
Honorable Minority Leader.
Is that how you are starting it?
Please.
Let me finish.
Honorable Minority Leader.
Yes.
I'm just indulging you because you are a leader. This is a time slotted for correction of vote and proceedings.
Yeah, with your leave. I took your leave. Honorable Haruna Idrisu used to slot this in. I'm doing that. Mr. Speaker, this government, I'm talking for you, please, it's for you. Mr. Speaker, this government promised a 24-hour economy. Mr. Speaker, we expect them to be ready from day 1. Mr. Speaker, you cannot start energy, finance, attorney general. When are the red of the ministers? You must be ready. We want to hear Ama Kofi Bua. We want to hear Agric. We want to hear Agric ministry. Honorable Eric Opoku.
Honorable Leader.
Honorable Eric Opoku.
Honorable Minority Leader.
We want to hear Agric ministry. We want to hear roads and highways.
Honorable Minority Leader.
We want to hear lands and natural resources.
Honorable Minority Leader.
Education.
Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante joins us with details. Kweku, if you can hear me. And so I know that Minority Chief Whip also has been reacting, but what has he been saying?
Well, according to Frank Anodom, his side, while acknowledging that the wealth of experience that these 3 persons bring on board will be rigorously taken through the appointment process, particularly at the vetting committee. And so Frank Anodom is part of the 4 NPP MPs who who are on the vetting committee, and he's already promising that it's going to be a show. And that they in the appointment committee are going to ensure that there's very rigorous vetting process for these 3 persons and other persons that will be nominated by the new president.
Well, Kweku, do we know when this vetting is set to start?
Not at the moment. In the next few days, we expect that the appointment committee will put out a schedule in terms of how they intend to undertake this vetting. Already, the House has agreed to suspend the rules in a way that subsequent nomination that will come from the president need not necessarily be read on the floor. They will just simply be referred to the appointment committee. As we speak, the House is adjourned up until the 21st of January. The whole of next week, Parliament will not be sitting up as a plenary, but perhaps that opportunity will be used to confirm the nominees that have been made by the president. And so no date as of yet, but we expect that by next week, the appointment committee that will be chaired by Bernard Ahiafo put out the modalities for the vetting and also specifically when this vetting will be done. But our understanding is that will be done as soon as next week.
Well, did you catch up with any of the nominees so far, especially Kesi Alatoforsen?
Well, I did see him when he was coming in. I recorded him together with some of his colleagues. None of them have been willing to speak to the record for now. And we expect that in the coming days, they will do speak. But normally when persons are nominated, they hardly speak to journalists up until they are vetted, and then following that, they will make comments. But I did cite it. All of them were on the floor today. The Minister for Finance designate, the Energy Minister designate, as well as the Attorney General and Minister for Justice designate. 3 of them were there when the names were read, and subsequently all the issues that have come up since. But they did not speak specifically to the issues that have been made, and some of those issues that have been raised. While on the floor, they did not speak. And while outside too, they haven't spoken to journalists yet, NFA.
All right. Thank you, Kweku. We're hoping that the list will come in time and so that the vetting will start. But quickly before I let you go, do you know whether they are going to be waiting for the full list before the vetting will start? I know you have acknowledged that we don't know when the vetting will start, but do you know whether or not they will be doing it and then they'll be holding on and waiting for the next list, or we're going to be waiting for the entire list before it starts?
So the practice is that the ones that have been received, the committee will work on it. And so the 3 that have been nominated to the Finance Ministry, Energy Ministry, and the Attorney General's Department will have their day before the appointment committee as soon as it's practicable. As and when the president nominates more persons, it will be referred to the committee, and they will take consequent actions on that. And so the committee will first start with these 3 and vet them, and then wait for the president to bring the other names.
All right. Thank you, Kweku. Thank you for talking to us. Well, Kweku was able to catch up with the Minority Chief Whip, and what he's been promising, especially that rigorous promise of vetting that he's been saying in Parliament. We've got that for you. Take a look.
The president has made it abundantly clear that he will not go beyond 60. So, at one breath, Honorable Nogbe, are you going to be among the 60? Speaker, on a more serious note, I want to commend your good self and leadership for being proactive when we took the decision to put together the selection committee and the appointment committee and the business committee in anticipation of these nominees coming. We on the minority side will be ready for you at the appointment committee. We want to caution your nominees to come prepared. It's not going to be business as usual. Come prepared. I hope you'll be prepared when you appear before the appointment committee.
Take a listen or watch how the majority as well responded.
Has been talking a lot lately. We've been indulging him because we understand this difficult transition. And we believe that we should allow him to basically bring out all the pains of losing. But we want to remind him that his responsibility is to ensure that the business of this house flows. And we expect you to be productive. We expect you to cooperate as we did to ensure that government business is done. For now, we are indulging you because we know the painful transition you are going through.
Now, President Mahama has assured Ghanaians of a stable and reliable electricity supply amid growing concerns about a potential power crisis. Speaking at the 92nd Annual National Jalsa Convention of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Mission in Pomazi Central Region, his first public engagement since being sworn in as Ghana's president, he urged citizens to remain hopeful.
We will transparently let you understand what those challenges are, and we will take responsibility for solving them. The Reset Agenda presents our collective commitment to restoring good governance, achieving economic stability and creating opportunities for all. And that is exactly what we shall do. It is our blueprint for national progress and will not waver in its implementation. Let me give you examples of some of the challenges we face immediately. For instance, a planned shutdown of the West African gas pipeline was supposed to take place in October last year. At the intervention of this government, it was postponed till January. This is a long delayed maintenance and has to be urgently done. But what it means is that there will be no gas available for all our generating plants in the east of Ghana, that is the Tema Enclave, because it will have curtailed the gas coming from Nigeria and the gas that comes in the reverse flow from our gas processing plants in the west. And so it means that the thermal generating plants in the Tema Enclave would have no access to gas. And normally, to forestall blackouts because of the loss of almost 2,000 megawatts of power, we have to make provision for fuel. And this is light crude oil, heavy fuel oil, and distillate fuel. Unfortunately, enough provision was not made for this eventuality. When the fuel arrives, it takes time to import it, 3 weeks to place an order and get it delivered. And when it arrives, you have to treat the fuel for another week and a half to make it ready for use in the generating plants. And so there's a threat of power outages. But my brothers and sisters, don't despair. Like I said, you elected us to solve the problems, not to put the blame on anybody else or to shoulder you with those problems. And so yesterday I called a meeting of all the stakeholders in the electricity value chain. And they have been sitting since yesterday to today to come out with innovative solutions so that we're able to keep the lights on. And so I can assure you, with some of the ideas they've come up with, we will make sure that your lights stay on and that we do not have doomsday, as you popularly call it.
Meanwhile, just 24 hours after taking office, President Mahama has indicated his strongest commitment to prioritizing the privatization of the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, as a potential solution to the nation's energy crisis. With another power shortage looming, he formed a technical committee to stabilize the sector. ECG's inability to channel revenue to key stakeholders threatens the energy supply chain, making privatization a critical option under serious consideration.
Achilles heel of Ghana's financial and economic stability is there, and blow apart everything that we have achieved, in the last few years. And so how we change the systems in the energy sector to make sure that we pay down the debt and make it more efficient than it is currently. I was vice president at the time. My president, Professor Atta Mills, signed the MCC. Actually I signed it, but he initiated the discussions. And when he was ready to sign, I was the one who signed it. And it was meant to improve and make Ghana the most efficient producer of electricity in Africa and become a major hub for electricity exports. Unfortunately, democracy has its dividends, but it also sometimes can be a curse. We left government and a new government took over and took over the Millennium Challenge Compact. Next up, the last segment of it, which was providing efficiency in distribution, billing, metering, and all that. And of course, PDS is history now. But we want to take a look at that again, because if we don't fix the Electricity Company of Ghana, we will continue to have a major problem with our whole power value chain. And so going ahead with privatizing the last point of distribution of electricity to bring in private sector efficiency is something that we want to take up again.
Some experts in the energy sector agree that privatizing ECG could provide a long-term solution to its persistent challenges. Executive Director of ASAP, Ben Bocce, said that fixing ECG's operational issues should be a top priority. He spoke on upfront.
But on the broader scale of things, I think we have to look at how we sustainably fix the energy sector. Perhaps into the later parts of the month, we need to do a stakeholder consultation around how we address the energy sector situation, generation planning, making sure that we are bringing on efficient power plants, because there are new generation of power plants that when we talk about efficiency, it means that it will use lesser amount of fuel to generate a much more significant quantities of power. But key on the agenda, if government cares to fix this problem, is to let ECG go, as far as I'm concerned. That's what should be on the table if we really want to fix this problem sustainably. And I'm hoping that we won't continue to be dancing around the core issue of letting the distribution side go. That is the engine room. That is where the money is made. If we fail to do that, this conversation is not ending today.
Also, Executive Director for the Institute of Energy Security, Nana Moisi VII, agrees that the earlier ECG is privatized, the better.
We must go back and revisit the private sector participation arrangements, because the ECG has proven that it is unable to manage affairs well. We will need more funding to retool the distribution sector, the lines, the transformers, the capacitors, and every equipment in there. Do we have money to do that? The private sector may come in with some form of funding and support, and also the efficiency or competence that we so much desire. ECG must be taken through that private sector arrangements.
Well, a technical committee expected to present a framework to the president on how to solve the challenges. Felix Fosu-Kwakye is the acting government spokesperson. Here's what he had to say.
Government has been briefed in order to address the situation, because we know that it is pretty urgent. A technical committee has been set up that has representatives from all the key players in the management of Ghana's energy sector, and they have up until the close of day today to put before government the roadmap on what exactly needs to be done and how it can be done. So you can rest assured that government is taking the matter seriously and will do what has to be done in order to avert any difficulty for the people of Ghana. It needs to be stressed that the pegging exercise, or if you like, the maintenance exercise on the pipeline, should have been carried out in October of last year. Government then, the MPP government, requested that they shift it to January 20th in order that they will have sufficient time to procure the alternative fuels, that is the liquid oils, to power the thermal plants within the period that gas will not be available. At least in about 2 national security briefings that the then president-elect held with the present government, he asked about the status of the procurement of oils, and he was given firm assurance by the then government that they had put mechanisms in place to resolve the situation, that there will not be the difficulty that we are talking about today. It does appear that that promise was not kept, and therefore the responsibility has shifted to the present government. But President Mahama is alive to the task.
Well, let's take you and bring you an update on the Ablekuma North constituency story, where NDC's Nana Ama Irabna Orbin has accused the Electoral Commission and the NPP for conniving to manipulate the Ablekuma North parliamentary election results. Tensions have been on the rise in the constituency as the EC is set to conclude collation. The returning officer for Ablekuma North constituency, Vincent Oben, yesterday at the Regional Collation Center gave up on the collation process and demanded the EC to look for another official to take over after the process almost turned fisticuffs between the agents of the NPP and the NDC. My colleague James Aveji was at the Collation Center and presented this report.
Suspended the coalition of result for Ablekuma North constituency. You would recall that on Monday, they have been able to authenticate some 13 out of the 20 outstanding polling stations. But just before the process could kickstart today, the NDC constituency organizer for Ablekuma North, Musa Kalami, raised some concerns accusing the EC of not telling the truth to the public when he says all 13 polling stations had been authenticated on Monday.
Some of the POs, when they met the returning officer, they told the returning officer they can't confirm the figures on the scan pink sheet of MPP. The returning officer of Ablekuma North, Mr. Obin, came in front of you, the media, and told you all the 13 POs that they brought here confirmed the figures on the pink sheets. I am now going to introduce or bring in a PO who came in the last time and said he did not confirm the figures on the pink sheets.
The presiding officer for the polling station in question have also been telling his side of the story.
No, I didn't, because there were some figures on it and some handwritings weren't mine. That's what I told the returning officer when I came last Monday.
Handwritings on the pick sheet wasn't
figures, and there's some part of the handwritings wasn't mine. That's what I told the returning officer. That was what happened on Monday.
You feel the handwritings, the writings were manipulated?
I can't see. I just know it's not mine, so I don't know where from.
What about the signature?
The signature was mine. The name was mine too. The name was mine. The signature was mine.
So you did not authenticate it?
No, I didn't authenticate it because I told the returning officer.
The EC kickstarted the process to authenticate the coalition pink sheet of some 7 outstanding polling stations. But in the middle of the coalition process, there was chaos.
The NDC organizer did on the 8th of December in Ablekuma North. All the TV stations, you are seeing.
So you see there, the police trying to make an arrest. One person is currently being pushed out of the coalition room. The other official that the police are trying to take out of the room now is the NDC organizer for the Ablekuma North constituency. The police are intervening now, asking that he's been brought back to the coalition center. But at the end of the day, the EC has been able to authenticate only 4 out of the 3 constituent polling stations. Here is the returning officer for the constituency.
We came today. We've been able to do 4 out of the 7. So we are left with 3 more. We brought our presiding officers here. 2 came. and they couldn't authenticate the statement of pool and declaration form. One said she can't come. So that is the 3 now. It's so unfortunate for me to make this statement that I'm done with Ablik Manoff. They should find a new return officer to continue their work for them. Thank you.
You haven't got in there. You haven't got in there.
When you call me, I don't come.
You haven't got in there. I think it is out of frustration that he's saying what he said. And I understand him, but I don't think that's the end of the road. We'll get him back. The other guy said that he can also not deny or affirm. We'll give ourselves time. There's another person who's a lady. He said that even if you bring Caterpillar, he will not come back because of what they have gone through. And my sadness is that if we are doing this to our own people, 2024 is not the only time we'll have election. We'll have election in 2028. Are we sure that we'll have dedicated people to come and serve Mother Ghana? Truth will always be the truth. So that's what I would say.
The NPP's parliamentary candidate, Ekuafri, has also been responding to what has been happening in the course of the day.
By the grace of God, truth will stand. In the first place, I appreciate the justice system that we should go and collate. And I am firm. I want to say on record that I will fight this till end because I know I won.
As it stands now, the final result cannot be declared because the EC would have to go back to authenticate the rest 3 of the outstanding polling stations. It is unclear when they will come back to do that and declare the final result. My name is James Savage, reporting for Joy News.
But speaking on PM Express last night, NDC's Irabna Oben accused the NPP and the EC of playing manipulative games to rig the elections. Take a look.
It's been pretty frustrating, disappointing, nauseating. It's been awful. It's been awful. Sadly, we weren't expecting this series of events from the MPP and the Electoral Commission. But sadly, we are witnessing series of attempts just to overturn the actual results from the constituency at the just ended polls or elections. The majority of voters or the electorate in Ablekuma voted for change, and they voted massively for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, and they voted for Irabna Obeng. But you see, if she claims she won the elections, why did she go about the constituency, taking back gifts and goodies she had given to entice voters in the first place? Maybe when you engage her, you should ask her. We spent 2 days and nights at our constituency collation center, tabulating figures and results, simply because the EC, perhaps they weren't being straightforward with us. It was at our constituency collation center where our MCE, outgoing as of today, our MCE sneaked in pink sheets, parliamentary pink sheets, to favor the NPP candidate, even at the constituency collation center. And so the mayhem at the constituency began when the EC started calling out figures, and grassroots and supporters out there heard some votes, and they thought, why did they mention some strange figures that we are all coming from the polling station? We didn't hear this. I'm surprised the EC is not worried. I'm surprised the EC is not concerned. I'm surprised the police are not worried about these developments. That what happened? Why don't we invite these parties, these allegations? What's the proof? Where did it happen? How? Because the police were present. The police that were meant to protect both parties or all 3 parties. All 219 were pink sheets that the NDC produced.
Right.
And even as of today, Since the EC said we could produce scanned documents or soft copies, we presented some of the results to them. They refused to pick it or to take it or to accept it. They were bent on accepting soft copies from the NPP, but not from the NDC. How are you a fair referee in such a game? It is not about what will work for me. It is about what is acceptable, what is fair. This is not going to be the last election in Ablekumanofo or in Ghana. So subsequently, what are the electoral laws? What are we looking forward to, or what are we looking up to? Okay, so if the EC is to come out today and say that we are going to have a rerun, how many polling stations are we going to have the rerun at? Because from 62 polling stations, they accepted scanned documents only from the NPP, not verified by the NDC, not double-checked by the NDC, but only the NPP and the EC. Today, we were at the collation center. Now, it was yesterday as at 9:47 p.m. I had a call to say that you are to present yourself and your agents to the collation center today. But on Monday, when we left, before we left the center, I am pretty sure the NPP, that is the other side, they knew they were going to be here today. And so ask yourself that what exactly is the EC doing, or what exactly is the EC doing with the NPP? I think this administration of the Electoral Commission has been, I have no words, but I am so disappointed. I am so disappointed at how they make up their own rules. Look at the case of Techiman South. Let's look at our electoral law. What was the stance of the EC after declarations, and what is their stance now?
Right.
Well, we have in studio the NPP's parliamentary candidate for the constituency, Nadeko Afriyie, and we'll hear from her shortly. First, let's listen to the returning officer for the Ablekuma North constituency. But when we find that, we'll bring that. We've got Nadeko Afriyie in studio, and let's get straight to it. Many thanks for joining us in studio today.
Thank you.
How are you feeling after the roller coaster of your constituency and the?
Well.
Are you okay?
It's going well.
Everything is going okay.
Everything is well.
Right. You have also followed the conversation with the NDC's candidates, which we have also just aired for our viewers to see. What do you have to say about some of the allegations that she leveled against you?
Well, we have substantive issues to talk about. I think all that she was saying were rhetorics, just to make allegation. EC is mandated to do its work in an appropriate manner. And all that I know is you provide your pink sheets. We were told to provide scanned copies, soft copies, or the original. Because of the incident that happened at the collation center, that is the NDC tax meeting our people and collecting pink sheets from them, including POs, beating them up and all that. And so we were asked to now move forward to ensure that we provide anything that will help them collate. And so fortunately for us, we were able to have our scanned copies of all the 281 polling stations. Little did they know that we had those, because they felt that they had torn all the 281 from us. And so, fortunately, that is what we provided. And they are substantive issues. It's the figures we're going to talk about. It's not babbling and giving all sorts of, allegations that are unfounded. And so...
Okay, that said, so we're quite clear on 219 polling stations. There's nothing that is contentious about that one.
Nothing is contentious about all from where we've gotten to.
Okay, all of the polling stations for the NPP, nothing is contentious.
Yes.
The EC would not be recollating if there was something that's contentious.
So let me explain.
Please go ahead.
So we have 281 polling stations in Ablekuma North. And when we got to, I used Fortunately, I used my scanned copies of all the 281 to verify for them. Because when we started the collation, they claimed they don't, we should break something. And they claimed they had all the 281 hard copies. After they torn some of ours, I had my full scanned copies. So I provided all, with even the soft copy on the laptop. And it was verified. They were the same with what they brought. And fortunately, they brought the polling stations that they had won. And so they were bringing it out. We were not perturbed, because at the end of the day, we are going to do 281. So whether you bring the polling stations that you won or you lost, we were not cared. I mean, we did not care. We're not bothered. So when they bring the pin sheet out, we say, we have it. We verify it's good with our scanned copies. And they got all the 219. So she was leading a bit after the 219. Then immediately they stopped. They said they were tired. So we had to continue the following day. We were not worried. So we said, okay, the following day we continue, knowing very well that we had already collated ours and we had won. So we were not worried at all. So we came the following day. Then immediately they said, we are not going to continue. We are going to declare our candidate. So we are leaving the 62 polling stations behind. I said, no, I will not agree. Because I used my scanned copy to verify for you. And so we are still continuing with my scanned copies, some of my originals. I have by 80% of the originals.
Okay, at the time?
At the time. Okay. I still have them.
Okay.
And so we are going to continue.
So 20% of the of what you had earlier is what you were saying the NDC thugs had destroyed.
Yes, 20% of the original.
Yes, so you're left with a soft copy of those.
Of those, I'm left with soft copy of those. Correct. So the following day, no, you declare. I mean, you saw the videos. Otherwise, we'll kill you. We'll do this, we do that. And the returning officer said, I'm scared. I mean, I haven't finished. The law says you should collate all, underlined, ALL, all. And now you are telling me to declare after 219. I think it's unfair. He said, no, declare. And he said something. In fact, some of us didn't even hear what they said. And we left. Everybody started running away. So when we got home, I said, well, this thing I have to get in touch with my lawyer. I did that. We went to court, the High Court. And the High Court ruled that, you know what, with all the 4 constituencies that we are talking about, go back and collate. And that is what the law says. They said, well, they wanted to join, have a rejoinder, and they were not allowed to. So I went back to the Supreme Court. It came back to High Court. They ruled again, go and collate. So why I'm saying that we are not talking about any 219 is that we have 281. We came back and continued the collation.
I want a bit of clarity. Among all the constituencies that were taken to court, Ablikuma North, you say, was part of it. Was part of it.
Yes.
We needed that clarity because at some point people...
Ablikuma North was part
of that.
Yes.
And was that different from your personal lawyer that you had gotten in touch with?
No, the same lawyer for all the 4.
For all the 4?
All the 4.
Okay.
Because collation had stopped for all.
Okay.
So we all joined together and went to the court. So we came back, collation continued. Then I will agree. I don't like the spin sheet. I will agree. When they see that the polling station is my stronghold, which I allowed them to use theirs, they said, no, we will not agree. This one, no. This one, this. So we had a lot of challenges, but I'm determined to stand until the end. So we've gone through that. Then we got to a stage, we did 42.
42 out of the 62 remaining.
Yes.
Right.
Then we were left with 20. Right. So the 20, we started with the 20. They said, no. Then you have to bring the presiding officers to come and verify.
What do you think is the contention behind their asking the presiding officers to come and verify the remaining 20?
You see, I don't think they have any issue. The only thing is, because their government is in power, so they were crying for rerun.
At the time that the request for recollation and the back and forth started way in December, the government just was sworn in just recently.
The government was sworn in. No, not swearing in, but the government won. I mean, our flag bearer conceded immediately. I mean, you are all aware.
Okay.
And so that is where the whole tension started. The thugs started, attacking people. This thing started from that day, on the 8th. In fact, 7th midnight, you are aware.
On that 7th midnight, Irabna Obin of the NDC is claiming that the MC in that area was the one supposedly to...
An unfounded allegation. It's false. It's not true. The MC even came there late. And when the people started those fights and all that, the MC just left. I saw the MC in a flash, just about 5 minutes, he left. He never brought anything. Now, you see, when someone is speaking, try to pick some things that you can see that is a lie, is a complete lie. When we started collating, the gentleman who came on the television, who was fighting people, his name is Kalamu. He is the constituency organizer.
For the NDC?
For the NDC. This same person, I was there. I wasn't told. I was sitting right in the room when he came there with tax, bolted away with the EC pink sheet. In my presence, when he was going, he started tiring them. And we have pictures to that effect.
Why have you not taken any initiative about that?
So they left. And everybody was quiet. So now the following day was when the EC called all of us to bring what we have. Because you have sports mind. So bring what you have. So it comes to where the 219 we got to at the collation center, the regional collation.
Minus the supposed ones that this NDC gentleman had torn.
Yes, the last one. You mean the last one? The last one was just yesterday.
Oh, the tearing of this is just yesterday?
No, the tearing of it was the same midnight.
Exactly.
That is on the 8th.
Yes, so that's where my concern is that the tearing of the pink sheet, I've seen that you've mentioned it not once, not twice. And I'm wondering, do you not concern yourself at all that you have such hard evidence and you're not pursuing it?
I have mine.
Because you have the
that was not, yes, and I have hard copies too. In fact, the 20% that was torn by the tax outside, one of my boys had brought it. They were trying to bring it to the collation center to verify with what the EC will be mentioning. Do you get me? Now, when we finish the election, bring your mind here, when we finish the election, the 281, we immediately scanned them.
Okay.
So we had the hard copies, and we had the soft copies as scanned.
Right.
And then one of my boys divided our pink sheet with the presidential and started going to the collation center with about the 20% he was having.
Okay.
And the 20% was actually taken away from him, torn them, beaten, and this boy was rushed to the hospital. That was the first place. I was trying to cut it, but since you are asking for details...
Yeah, because we just want...
And the guy was sent to the hospital. So we lost that 20, but we had the soft copies.
Okay.
So you get the point now.
Yes, we do.
Now, when EC was doing its own thing, we had everything on our laptop because we had already collated. And we have seen that we had won with 414 votes.
Okay.
So we're only waiting for the EC to complete its own collation.
What are some of the concerns that you're worried about that the NDC is saying? Because you say that when they see that it's not in their favor, they go against it.
Yes.
But when it is in their favor, they are okay with it.
I was not bothered.
What are some of the...
I don't have any concern because we are dealing with 281, my dear. We are dealing with 281. So when I start, and it's your stronghold, and you mention I'm not bothered.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, we'll get to the 281.
Does it matter at all the concern of the NDC saying that they are not okay with the scanned copies because they think that it can be manipulated? Does it matter to you at all?
When we started with the 219 and we're using our scanned copies and it was favoring them, were they not concerned?
Okay.
I used my 219 scan. Everything was the same. When they bring the pink sheet out, it's the same. They claim they had all the 281. What are you hiding from? why are you now saying you don't have the rest of the originals? Because it favors a free, so you don't have it. That's a trick. You get my point now?
Yes. Now we have 3 only outstanding. Up until yesterday, there were a few allegations as well live on TV that a particular presiding officer says that he is unable to authenticate the figures on a particular pink sheet, but he can confirm his signature and his name. Did that come to your attention?
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
He said, I was there.
Yes.
He said, I confirm everything written on the paper, the figures, the handwriting. They are my handwriting, the signature is mine. The first one. Then they brought another photocopy pin sheet from the NDC that has been altered. The figures has been altered. So they brought original pink sheet to this gentleman. And they brought the photocopy. Then he said, I know this, but with this one, I can't confirm. That was number 1. We are talking about 3 people. The gentleman who came on television later, that was brought by the NDC, is a strong NDC. So he was coached to come and say that is not for him. But you know what? He has implicated himself because he said that from the top, everything is my handwriting and my signature. The down, everything is my handwriting and signature. The figures are my handwriting. The words are my handwriting and signature. But the figures and the words are the same.
The EC declined commenting on that, but what do you think the EC should do with such a document?
They have original.
Okay, so it won't matter.
It won't matter what you come to say, what somebody has told you to come and say. It doesn't matter at all. They have the original. It's the same as the other 2. So his, was he actually accepted? That's gone. The 3 we are talking about,
yes.
The gentleman said, that's my handwriting and everything. The other one you brought, I can't confirm. It's not even clear, but this is original pink sheet. And I remember this is my handwriting. So that's number 1. They started shouting. We will not agree. The boy said he can't see anything. And then that's one, the arrow put it aside. Then he called another gentleman. He also said, everything on the paper is my handwriting. Then the arrow asked, how about your rejected ballot? He said, I can't remember that there was a rejected ballot. But in fact, from top to down, every figure, every word on it is mine. The signature too is mine. But I can't remember there was rejected ballot. That is too easy, we'll accept. Because that is original pink sheet. It's not a scanned or photocopy.
Okay, which is the last 3 that are outstanding.
And then the third one making the 3, the lady called and said, I was beaten the day I was bringing the pink sheet. Fortunately, I had a picture. I snapped a picture because they were told to make copies with their phone when they finish. He said, fortunately, I have. I'm doing a voice note to send to the EC to actually let them know that there I am not coming because I was beaten the last time. I am afraid of the way they will handle me when I come. Because, you know what?
Who are they?
That is NDC. The lady was malhandled. So she said, I'm not going to come, but I can make a voice note and send you a copy of what I snapped. If you use it and you check, this is from your own PO.
Okay.
So the lady sent it, and we all got copies. In fact, we got copies with the voice note.
What then did you say is told that? Why didn't we conclude it yesterday again?
The same old story. We will not agree. We will agree. We will do this. Then the arrow said, okay, then I'm closing. In fact, I've gone through hell with this thing all the time, and I'm not going to continue it.
How do you feel about that?
He will continue.
How?
He has to continue. Do you know why? The law binds the arrows to do it. Yes. So the first one, the second one, we have third. So if the arrow says he is not going to do, which I'm praying that he has finished with it, we are left with 3. He should actually finish with it and declare the winner. So I'm praying that God will touch his heart to come and continue, because with these 3 we have the original pink sheet, so there is nothing to hide.
Leaving the center yesterday, what did the EC say, and what's the next move after yesterday?
We will be called again.
Okay.
I am still trying trying to find out what the decision is now, the Electoral Commission, the decision they've taken now to continue, because I'm eager to finish and start my work.
A bit more on the returning officer. So the returning officer, you're unable to compel him by law, but we're praying that God will touch his heart so that he'll come and finish the work. Or if God doesn't touch his heart
by law, but because he has his deputies. So I know that if he says, well, I'm still not interested because of it, because his wife was threatened. They went to his house and all that, a whole lot of things. So he's compelled by law. But at the end of the day, if he says, indeed, I'm not going to do it, the deputy, the second deputy is there. The EC will take a decision and allow any of them to do it. At the end of the day, it will be collated.
And so, per your numbers and your figures, you have said continuously that you're leading.
Yes.
What numbers are you leading by?
Okay, so now the 281 polling stations, we've been able to collate 278. The 278, I got 34,296. The NDC got 33,947. And so when you deduct this from this, I'm leading with 349. And interestingly, the other 3 polling stations, I'm leading too. I won all the 3 polling stations. And that is where the contention is. We will not agree because they saw the figures.
If you add the next 3, and I'm going somewhere with this question, if you add the next 3 polling stations to the current number that you have, you'd be having a total of how much?
A total of 414.
414.
Yes.
In the time that you won, you've been a member of parliament for that constituency before. Do you recall how much margin you won with?
Yes, I'm going to come by that. You know, we've had challenges throughout Ghana in this election. We were expecting, my expectation was that at least I should get about 64,000. Because if you look at the trend, during my time, 2016, I had 54,698, making 66.84%.
Okay.
And the NDC got 26,830. In fact,
would you say that with your previous numbers
in
this contest, this was quite a keen contest?
No, it wasn't.
It's not a keen contest
people
at all?
Did not. Our people didn't come to vote.
Okay.
Yes, our people, about 52,000 people did not come out.
If after collating the EC, because then you have said that you believe in the mandate of the EC, the EC still does not declare you as winner, what would you do?
They will. Oh, they will. But there is no indication. I mean, my sister, when you're going for election, you deal with figures. If Ekwefrie is here and she's able to give you her figures, everything, and from beginning, from 1 to 281, I haven't heard. There hasn't been any mistake. Everything consistently has been the truth, and it is going the same.
If you eventually are declared as the winner, what do you hope of doing for a returning MP, much expectations? What would you do?
A lot. I have to continue the work I started. I'm building a hospital at Awosh. You have to complete it. I started the Akuman Lorry Station. I've built it for them. I have few to do. I take care of widows and a lot of people I can mention. I do a lot for people. There is something that my opponent said, and I think she made mention of going round. If I knew I had won,
the allegation of you
I saw
going
it.
to
Yes, you played it. Yes.
And please address that in your wrapping conversation, in your wrapping comments, adding the allegation of you conniving with the EC.
Oh, okay. And she said, I want to quote her. She said, if you know you have won, why do you go about collecting things you give to people? My dear sister, I don't think I feel obliged to respond to comments of that nature, especially considering personal struggles with drug addiction for 2.5 years in rehabilitation in US. Such a person, I don't think I feel obliged to answer her.
You mean the NDC candidate?
Yes. Being in rehabilitation center for 2.5 years, I don't feel obliged to answer such a person a question.
We definitely cannot stand with this
yes,
allegation.
But you don't make allegation to say the person is a con lady and she's going around collecting things she gave to people. That is also an allegation. And so I'm replying to that. My next answer to that too is that, you see, if you are in a bathroom, there is an old adage that says that if you are in a bathroom bathing and you hang your clothes on the wall and a madman or a mad person comes to pick it up, you don't come out naked following the person.
These are clearly your opinions, and then the Joy News can really not authenticate these ones as
but
well.
I don't think you also told her the day. No, you were not told. You didn't tell her.
You can refer.
You didn't tell her she's making an unfounded allegation. You did. I didn't see it in.
We did.
And so
we did.
Then mine too should be on record.
It's on. No, we're not taking the record away from you at all, except that we cannot authenticate it. Okay. That's all. Yeah. Yes. But moving forward, and final words. Well, you're hoping that in how many days should the EC call you back?
I'm hoping that because we are left with only 3 polling stations, which is very easy to call it and add and declare the winner. We are hoping that today, tomorrow, we should finish.
Okay.
So that I will be able to have the opportunity to serve my people, even though we had challenges of people coming out to vote. We couldn't get them to come out to vote. The MPP in Ablekuma North, we always get the 64,000 registered voters out on the street to vote for MPP. This time, the challenge is we didn't get about 34,000 did not come out to vote. And so those who voted, I appreciate it. And so I'm in a hurry to continue my work.
We're nearly there. 3 polling stations more to add, and then we'll get to know who finally would be representing the Ablekuma North constituency. Many thanks for joining us today, and Free. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm grateful.
We'll go for a quick break. We'll be back shortly. Please stay. Welcome back to The Pulse. Now, some residents of Ada, most of whom are artisanal salt miners, have allegedly taken over the operation of salt mining company Electrochem Ghana Limited. They accuse the company of depriving them of their livelihoods by confiscating tools they use for artisanal salt mining in the Songo Lagoon. Now, the situation has heightened tensions in the area following an alleged attack on a chief. We're learning that some residents suspected to be in support of Electrochem's operations in Bonikope have fled the community for safety. Well, here is a video detailing the incident earlier today. Well, we've got an eyewitness who will be speaking to us. I've got Matthew Kitcher. Matthew, thank you for joining us, and let's know what happened earlier today.
Thank you very much. First of all, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate our President-elect, His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, and let me greet the good people of Ada. What happened today is something that we have to condemn it as a people, as a nation, because 1st of December 2024, by then the PC for NDC, Honorable Dan Kesibese, made a categorical statement at Bonikope that the video is on social media everywhere. I even have the video with me. That he said that if NDC won, they will take over the Songo Lagoon. He made that statement as Bonikope while he is doing a rally. Saying this thing to the people at that time as PC, get into the mind of the supporters of NDC. So when our president is being sworn in, the people take that step and get to the site of Electrochem Ghana and sack the securities and all those kind of things. That thing that happened today was led by the constituency organizer for NDC in Sege constituency, Bodo, and he's the same person, is the assembly member for Tufloko. And what happened today is something that is ISO. They invade the Songo Lagoon, Electrochem Ghana, tie into the warehouse, pick pumping machines, take everything that they like, hosts and all those kind of things. And there is tension in the town, and even women have to run from the community to get their safety in other villages. And that is what we are calling on the President of the Republic of Ghana to call the NDC supporters to order, because it's not only at that this thing is happening. This thing is happening across the country, and it's not good at all. And I'm pleading with the President to call Honorable Dan Kesibese and the constituency organizer for Sege constituency, Bodo, to order that we have laws in this country. And when you don't understand anything, you have to pass through the legitimate right, or you have to pass through the legal right to get whatever you want. Not to put the laws into your own hands or to take the laws into your own hand and going to attack the company, meeting of securities, sacking securities from their carrying cutlass and other things. And what happened today is not what we have to entertain as people of this nation and as the good people of Ada. We have our chiefs, we have our opinion leaders in Ada. If you don't understand anything, you have to get to them. Even I know that in the constitution of NDC, we have Council of Elders in Sege constituency. And if you don't understand anything, you have to go to the Council of Elders in Sege constituency and seek the right information and pass through the right channels to get whatever you want. But as an organizer for a party in Sege constituency, Bodo to organize the boys in Ada, and what happened today, it's not what we have to encourage, and I pray that this should never happen again in Ada. Well, this is not. Yes.
Matthew,
yes,
tell me, is this the first time this has happened since the NDC came to power?
Yes, this is the first time we are seeing something like this, because it is a categorical statement made by Honorable Daniel Kesibese on the 1st of December 2024 at Bonikope, while he is doing rally. And he's telling the people or the supporters of NDC that when NDC won this 2024 election, they will take over the Songolago. So in a statement made by Honorable Daniel Kesibese, and again, what happened today in Spain, led by the organizer for the party, that is Mr. Bodo, and he's the same person is the Honorable Assembly Member for Tufoko, the good people of Tufoko. So it's something that they plan. Now, Mr. Bodo is a darling boy to the MP for Sege constituency, Honorable Daniel Kesibese. Right. So what happened today is something that they sit down and plan to attack the company.
Well, I'd like to state categorically that we've been trying to get in contact with Honorable Daniel Kesibese. We actually have spoken to him, but he declines to want to speak on this matter. For the record, we've tried to reach him, and he has said that he would not speak on this particular matter. But Matthew, you're saying that it's not the first time this is the very first time it happened because of the said comment that the Mr. Daniel Kesibese said on the first day of December. Now you can confirm that all these people that broke into Electrochem are all NDC members and not.
They are all NDC members led by the organizer for Sege constituency. The videos are there.
Did he just lead it, or he was there physically as well?
He lead with the people. He lead the people to the place. He is the constituency organizer for the party. Now let's look at this. The MP for by then the PC for Sege constituency, Honorable Daniel Kesibese, make a categorical statement that if NDC won, they will take over the Songola. Now NDC have won, and now the organizer of the party for Sege constituency, Bodo, led people to go into the company and sack the securities, take over the company, get into the warehouse of the company, pick properties of the company, machines, holes, everything. People are even stealing the salt that the company have packed there. The salt that the company have packed there, people are even stealing the salt because they sack away the securities and all those kind of things.
Okay.
And that is what you have to
Matthew, stay with me. I'll come back to you, but I want to go to the Chief Executive Officer for Electrochem, Razak Adams. And Razak, thank you for joining us. I'm not too sure what has been picked and what has been destroyed, but confirm to us what the situation is like now.
So first and foremost, I would like to congratulate His Excellency John Dramani Mahama as the incoming or the president of the country, because I believe that he's a president that believes in the rule of law, is a president that would not allow recklessness to reign in the country. And he's also the president that will protect the private sector. So that being said, this morning at 6 a.m., whilst my staff were marching to go and work, there was a bus that came in with hooligans and thugs that took over the premises of the company, and they invaded our warehouse, stole away a lot of pumping machines, valued millions of dollars, and then they vandalized our security installation, destroyed CCTV cameras, and then took away batteries for heavy-duty equipment and what have you, and stole away tons of salt worth millions and millions of cedis. So in the process, they also went to the community, started attacking people in the community that actually support or Electrochem existence. Let me pause and just make a point. Electrochem employed 99% of Electrochem employees are the people of Ada. And in addition, we employ about 3,000 people. This is a company that also has the potential to alleviate the forex problem that this country faces. This company is not only privately owned, government has 5% stake in this company. So to us, this is a national asset. And protecting the private sector and ensuring that private sector thrive, I believe, is the mandate of our president. And I believe that the president will not stand aloof and allow this recklessness to continue. So that being said also, we know that the MP for the area had promised the people that they would storm the concession and then they would take back the Songo. But this is a concession that has been properly acquired, that has been ratified by Parliament. At the same time, that has gone through all the legal processes to get to where it is. Before Electrochem took over the Songo salt, output was only 30,000 metric tons. Electrochem coming into being, it has moved to 500,000 metric tons. And we are on pace to produce 1 million metric tons by the end of the year. That is a revenue of over $100 million by a Ghanaian-owned company, a local-owned company, and it's a company of our own, for which the people of Ghana have a stake in that company. So to me, this lawlessness should not be allowed to fester. We are a country of law. Ghana is not a banana republic. We are a country of law, and we have to make sure that law prevails. I believe the police can step up to the task.
Well, Razak, you have just mentioned the police.
This doesn't happen.
You have just mentioned the police, but at the time that it was happening, was the police alerted and were they present to at least curb the situation? And can you also confirm what exactly has been stolen? We understand there are some drones, some equipment, and all of that. Please address these for me.
So we have a standby FP.
Oh, I am challenged by the network, but we'll try and fix that and then get to Razak back. But we're just bringing you the update of what happened earlier today at Electrochem, where alleged people broke into the company and then destroyed a lot of things and also stole some things from the company. But we've been talking to the Chief Executive Officer of the Electrochem, and we want to understand the actual items that have been stolen. Razak.
Okay, if I may, I wanted to add the fact that we do have 39 police officers that were stationed. Unfortunately, the crowd overwhelmed them, so they couldn't do anything. But we immediately alerted the Sege Police Command. They mobilized their forces and came in there and they did.
Again, I'm challenged by the network, but we'll try and get a confirmation of the things that... Okay, I have Razak back again. Okay, let me go back to Matthew. Matthew, if you can hear me, let's understand what you want the president to do. And so it says that it employs, so the executive officer has been telling us that this company employs a larger number of the residents there in Adam, and yet this was led by the NDC. What's the position of the residents now in Ada?
Yeah, the position of the residents in Adan is that they support the work over there. But the only problem that we are facing is the politics that they are doing with the company. That is what is worrying us in Adan. When you look at Adan, over 40 to 50 years, we don't have any company employs people in the area. The only company that is working now, that is functioning, that have employed over 3,000 people is Electrochem Ghana. But because of politics have entered into it and people are doing politics with it. And that is where we are as a people today. When you look at Electrochem coming to Ada in the past 3 years, if I will mention things that the good people of Ada have got from Electrochem, you'll be shocked. First, number one, women in Ada got interest-free loan. 1,750 women got interest-free loan. Now, communities in Ada are facing challenges with water issues. Electrochem came into their aid and solved that water issues. My town that I'm from, Labani, we are facing flood issues anytime that rain falls. As Electrochem came into our aid, we went to them that, anytime there's flood in Labania, the town all flooded. The C2 is coming, so they should come and help us. Electrochem came with their equipment and help us with that. Now, Lolonia is not having toilets. Electrochem gives them 20 seats of toilets. The sports village that is being built by Dr. Magan. Now, there is a radio station for Dr. Magan in Ada that have employed people that are working. Now, if you look at this thing, the ground rent is going to the chiefs. The chiefs are getting their ground rent. Government is getting his own share. What I'm saying is that as people, we have to come together. This is the same attitude about we, that Tema Port will be in Ada, right. But they said no, and they'll sack the port. Baton Hospital have to be in Ada. The same attitude, this land is for me. I will not agree. The Baton Hospital is gone. Solar company is coming to Ada. The same thing is happening. So what is wrong with us?
Well,
now
question
we see
to ask,
of Ada.
A question to ask for the gods, but Matthew, thank you for giving us this very detailed account of what's been happening in Ada, but we also want to categorically state that Joy News independently tried to verify these allegations, and we contacted the MP for the area, Honorable Daniel Bissey, but he has declined to comment on all of these allegations. But we shall continue to also try and fetch further information, and then we shall furnish you with that information as and when we acquire them. But stay with us. You're watching The Pulse. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to The Pulse. Now, the National Food Suppliers Association says it cannot supply food to senior high schools nationwide due to the absence of a standing payment agreement and uncertainty about whether the current administration will honor arrangements made by the previous government. This comes amid widespread food shortages in school, forcing school heads to ask parents to supplement feeding. National Secretary of CHAS, Primus Barrow, has told Joy News that the situation is dire, with many schools now rationing food to manage the crisis. Well, we'll bring you that a bit later, but spokesperson of the National Food Suppliers Association, Kwaku Amedume, wants the government to swiftly provide a roadmap for immediate supply of food to forestall the worst situation. Well, we'll bring you that one as well. But I've got the PRO for Parents Teacher Association, one woman who has finally become one of my favorites to talk to, Irene Sam. And we also will talk to Kofi Asari a little later. He'll be joining us via Zoom, and he's Executive Director of Africa Education Watch. I know that you have heard the many cries of CHAS, and Rev has been talking about it even before. Even you were in this studio some weeks ago, and you mentioned some of the things that you think that the previous government could have done better. and what you expect this current government to do. Now, one of the things that Charles was looking forward was to be able to encourage GES to at least push the reopening a little further so that the food situation can be managed. Now we're where we are. Some schools say they have food, some schools say they don't have school. Even so, and what's worse is that the supply associations say they are unable to further supply food. How does the PTA feel about that?
Thank you very much. Let me say a good afternoon to your cherished viewers and listeners as well. And then we are so grateful for having us here this evening. My beautiful moderator, thank you so much for having us. Yes, so this is what has bedeviled us. And as you rightly said, this issue didn't begin today. So we are very much disappointed in Charles for sitting down, keeping quiet over issues, and they are now trying to voice it out and even to come out openly, appealing to parents when they could have done that backdoor with us. We have been with Charles for many years now. They are part of our association, NCPTA. They represent the T aspect of the association. And then we have management systems in the schools who are also school heads. They are teachers. And they become parents to our children when they go to school. So this is how we have related well with them over the years. We have built staff bungalows for teachers, for heads of schools, dining halls, school and buildings. Just name them. When you go to every school today in Ghana and you try to pick out PTA projects, there is none left that we can even say this is for government or whoever. We have done so much. We are a collaborator. We are partners in education. And for that matter, we are the largest stakeholder in education. And we have played that role very well. Of which Charles can attest to that fact. So what has changed? That over the years, Charles has become some kind of hostile to us.
What would you rather have Charles do? Because a number of times we have seen Charles issue statements, we have seen Charles on media platforms, including ours as well, calling out the government on what they could do better and all of that. But what else did you want Charles to do?
My dear, how many times have they called on government, pressing their issues to government? Have they ever been bold enough to even come out, say that let's postpone roping day before?
They did.
For how long? When?
In December, they were calling on government.
That's what we are saying, that why now? This arrears they are looking for is not today. 2-3 years, this issue started little by little. Now it has aggravated to this extent. What was Charles doing all this then? When they knew very well that we were there, they could have consulted us.
What kind of consultation? What did you think that Charles could request?
That kind of friendship, that kind of collaboration that had existed between us and Charles could have gone on. In the schools, we meet the management on issues relating to schools. You know, the welfare of our wards. Let's say things are not there. They call on us back door, and we go in to help them.
So what's the major concern?
So what
they
has
are publicly
changed?
Asking you, or that they should have asked you privately?
Now, the issue here is that Charles could have comfortably written to the national body, because we own the schools in terms of the parents, the PTAs. So you know this our authority in the various schools. Just come to us.
Could you have influenced the government to push the reopening further?
Fine. Now the reopening, we can say that we were not even looking at that because this calendar has really suffered. Looking at apart from COVID, we have enjoyed or we have suffered an epileptic calendar. Today like this, tomorrow like that. Even somebody who go to school today, the next 1 month, you are being put, turned to another class. No examination, no preparation, nothing. And that kind of issues is also there. We are not even talking about it yet. So we are saying that if there is a change in roping, it's going to affect the academic calendar. Now, those who are in the transitional period or calendar, they just have 1 month to stay in school. and they'll go back.
Will you agree with me that myself, including some of our audience watching now, would be surprised that the PTA is not quite impressed at the way Charles has handled the issue, because then we're wondering, PTA is quite a vocal community. And we also, maybe we have heard, some have heard, but have you also voiced out your concerns about Charles publicly before? And the question then would be fair to ask, why now then?
Yes, the issue here is that we are saying that Charles has been quiet for far too long.
Okay.
They could have come out earlier than they did.
What are the parents doing now?
Yes, right now we are saddled with this kind of issues. And as we said, look, I received several calls. Even some of them want to go and bring their works home. Because what's going on? When they tell them that your work cannot be fed in the schools. When we know that, yes, basically, education is a shared responsibility. But here's the case that government says, I'm doing this for your wards. And then it is not forthcoming. And then the people that the thing is biting most is we, the parents.
We are where we are now.
Because
Charles
our children...
Help. Will you give it?
Fine. So right now that Charles is coming out, what did they want to achieve at this time? Has Charles ever come out openly to appeal to parents before? For the past 8 years, they have not done this.
Okay.
So why now?
We'll come to you again, Irene. I want to go on Zoom and talk to Kofi Asare. Thank you for joining us. You have done a lot of work concerning this area. We are where we are. You have just heard the PTA speaking passionately now. You may have also heard a lot of the concerns that Charles have raised over the period. But what is the way forward?
The way forward, and good afternoon to your cherished audience. The way forward is for the government to issue a statement of comfort to assure suppliers that the government is committed to honoring their supplies and their supplies, and so there shouldn't be any inertia in supplying contracted foodstuff. The way forward is for the government to assure suppliers that even though the government has promised to decentralize the procurement of food to schools, it is not going to be an overnight activity. It's going to be a process. And so that intention does not automatically truncate their contract. And so they must continue to supply once they are supplying within their existing contracts.
Okay.
The way forward, this too should happen immediately. Okay. In the medium term, we expect the government to, put the shoulder to wheel and then begin to have discussions with the Ministry of Finance to see how we can re-engineer the cash flow of the Ministry of Finance to confluence with the cash flow of the Ministry of Education. The issue is a liquidity issue. And it's also an issue of the lack of trust or apprehensions by food suppliers because of the politicized nature of that particular enterprise.
Okay. Let me come back to you.
Thank you.
Again. Oh, right. I almost thought that the network gave up on me, but let me come back to you. Please land on the point.
As the government assures... Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So as the government assured food suppliers of its commitment to honor their supplies, the government also has to ensure that the cash flow system, which has not met the needs of education, is reset such that the Ministry of Finance's cash flow makes, sense to education management and education delivery.
Beyond the points that you're raising now, should parents coming and at least cushion the schools for now?
Parents are already supplying, giving provisions to their food.
Should it be official? Should it be a request that is made official?
Well, parents are already supplying provisions to their children. The last study we did indicated that 60% of the cost that parents bear on secondary education is actually incurred on provisions, 60%. And so parents are already buying that. Perhaps it should be a reminder to parents that those parents who are not supporting sufficiently will have to make sure that their children are provisioned.
Should it be a policy at all? They have mentioned that they review
years or two.
Should it be a policy? at least a policy of 30%, 40%, any percentage that
the
parents
free
can
senior high
agree?
school policy.
Okay, let me come into the studio.
Thank you.
How much percentage do you think you can, if it becomes a policy, you can cushion government with and even the schools with?
Yes, so what we are looking at is what government can bring on the table.
Okay.
Because we don't know the funds available. So we government should engage us. Okay, this is what I can bring to the table.
Okay.
Then let's also see the rest, how we can also come in and cushion.
Whatever it is, parents are willing
to support because we want the policy to stand. And this is what we want to do.
You say that the PT will be ready to come.
We are ready. We are ready. We are bidding a lot already.
But currently, some of the schools say they're only surviving on gari rice and all of that. Kofi Asare is mentioning that parents are supporting. And
they are supporting
so for now, until it becomes a policy, should you encourage? You can watch the camera and then also.
Yes, we encourage our parents, the PTAs, to support in this regard. So if your ward is already in the school, make sure that this weekend get some few more things and beef up. And then we're also looking at the canteens in the various schools, how we can make it work to supplement whatever they are giving at the dining halls. So we are appealing to parents that they should give their wards some money. So that when they go to the schools, at break time, they can go and buy some gari, some banku or some kenke or watch it somewhere just to beef up whatever they are giving in the school. And then also, we are also making an appeal to our PTAs in the various schools. They should look in their coffers and see what they can do to help the kitchen, just to beef up before government comes in to help in this regard. Okay. And then we are appealing to Charles that we don't want this thing to happen again. Please. They have issues, they should come to us. We have been working, we are partners. Let us come together and trust issues and solve them. And then also to the new governments, our doors are widely open for any form of engagement.
Did you feel well engaged by the previous government?
No, please, so not at all. So this government, we are expecting that our doors are open for further engagement as to how to improve the education system, right from the basic level to the senior high school level.
Okay. If I still have Kofi, my final question in wrapping up with you would be, should it, I want a categorical answer, should it really be a policy that parents should support with a certain percentage at all?
Africa Education Watch has been advocating that parents of students who attend private schools at the junior high level and primary level should pay for the cost of their feeding in senior high schools. If they pay, that will amount to about 30% of senior high school students pay in cash. That cash will make liquid available to the government or to schools. As I keep saying, the challenge is a liquidity problem. But the policy doesn't allow or, restricts parents from formally paying. For the avoidance of doubt, we are talking of about 1,500 cedis a year, a whole year. We are not talking about 1 million Ghana cedis. It's just 1,500 cedis for the whole year for feeding your child. And so it is not an amount that the average private school parent cannot pay in a year. But because of the way the policy has been designed, by the connoisseurs of the policy and the politicized nature of the policy, it makes it difficult to have any meaningful and honest discussion.
Right.
About making the policy equitable. But equity itself means that those whose socioeconomic background dictates or suggests that they can afford an aspect of the policy should support, so that money is used to support, the poor. But unfortunately, we have decided to politicize our program.
Okay.
And so we continue to carry the buckets and break our neck until our backs break.
Thank you so much, Kofi Asare, for talking to us. And I'll give you the final minute, Irene Sam, to speak to your parents and Charles as well on what you're requesting from them and immediately what they can do to cushion your children.
So first of all, we want to say that, Charles, we have been working with you for a long time now, and we are still willing to work with you. So whatever be your challenges, we can always talk about it back door, as we have been doing in our various schools already. But we are pleading that some of these issues, whatever it it should come up earlier so that we can really find solutions to them, that we don't have to disrupt the academic calendar. We are also appealing to our parents out there that we should remain calm. Things will improve. They should just remain calm and help support the system for now until we further engage the new government and see the way forward. We are also appealing to our teachers as well in the various schools that in this regard we need them to help, help our wards in the various schools, looking at how the crisis have become so awkward and then things are not going on well. So we are appealing to teachers as well that they should also help us in this regard. And then we are also appealing to government to also come to the needs of the teachers.
Okay.
The teachers are also suffering. They have a lot of issues that they need to be, to be solved. So we are praying that some of these issues should be resolved amicably. We want our education system to improve. We want to see quality in education, not just the access.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today in the studio. And Happy New Year to you. Well, just a quick update. The PRO, Kwesi Kwarteng, has been speaking on this matter, and he believes there are few things that has led to the situation. In our subsequent bulletins, we'll bring you a sense of that post that he made on his social media, explaining what may have caused this situation. Thank you for watching The Pulse. For much more news, though, do log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Emefa Akosia Adeti.